Path of Exile has a Ralakesh problem. Today I want to talk about why these boots are strong, why they're too strong, and how to fix them. Let's go. In 3.23, the Ralakesh and Patience boots were entirely reworked. They used to provide power, endurance, and frenzy charges when you were not moving, but as soon as you moved, you lost the benefits. This provided some strong and interesting interactions.
This is the greatest build of all time, I think.
That GGG ultimately decided was too strong, so they made them even stronger. These boots now make it so you count as having maximum charges, even when you have none. Pretty much any build that stacks charges of any kind wants to use these boots. They're incredibly generically powerful, and I would actually argue that they're too powerful. On top of these incredible bonuses, they have 30 move speed and res, including chaos res. So why are they strong? So counting as having maximum number of charges means you never have to ramp up your charges in fights. In boss fights, you automatically have your frenzy charges, so the first time you hit, you're attacking with maximum cast or attack speed. Your endurance charges are always applied, which means the physical damage reduction in resistance can always be relied on. 10 endurance charges means you have 40 all resistance that you can just rely on having. Formerly, endurance charge resistance was not really a useful stat, but always giving all of these charges does a lot more. There's an interesting interaction with the Maven Belts that allows you to both have your charges and have a different kind of charge granted by the belt that normally would prevent you from generating those charges. For example, the Arn's Anguish belt gives you a maximum endurance charge, but it also makes it so instead of generating endurance charges, you generate brutal charges, which gives you triple damage. Now you get to have the benefits of both.
It's called having your cake and eating it too.
But then on top of that, you also get power and frenzy charges at all times. Boots are unfortunately so generically powerful, they fit into just about any build that wants to use any kinds of charges. They're also relatively common, so by the end of the league, they were 10 to 20 chaos. On top of the Maven Belts, there are interesting interactions such as Inner Conviction, which gives you more spell damage per power charge but prevents you from generating frenzies. These boots completely eliminate the downside. I think in an attempt to nerf some of the powerful interactions of these boots, they've made them way too generically strong. And I think generically strong items are not necessarily good for the game. It tends to make more cookie cutter builds in the end game. So how do we fix them? I've heard two really common suggestions that I don't think are very interesting. Number one being just make them tier 0. I think we have a good number of chase items that are generically powerful in this game, and I don't think making an item like this just incredibly rare solves the problem. I've heard other solutions proposed, such as nerfing them so they give you minus maximum charges, but I also don't think that's very interesting. My proposed solution for these boots is that they provide one of the 3 possible charges. It removes the other 2 lines. Think of something like the Doriani's Machinarium boots where there are multiple versions of the same boot. In this case, there would be a power charge version, a frenzy charge version, and an endurance charge version. They could rename the boots to Ralakesh's Endurance, Ralakesh's Frenzy, Ralakesh's Power. What this would do is it would prevent the generic power of just giving all of your charges all the time, but maintain the interesting part of the boots, which makes it so you can have charges that you otherwise would not be able to have. So the Maven boots preventing you from generating frenzy charges for the Olesia's Delight belt. Well, you could get the one that has just frenzy charges. You could gain that interaction and not gain the generic power of having endurance and frenzies on top. It also allows the Inner Conviction interaction to work and lots of other interesting interactions with charges. I think creating niche power is much more interesting in PoE. Keeps people playing longer and making new and interesting builds. GGG, if you're going to nerf this item, please nerf it in a way that is interesting. Don't just gut them and throw them in the gutter. If you enjoy this kind of video, click that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and come check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/AER0__. I'm live almost every single day, especially leading up to League start. It's gonna be a lot more content coming your way, so make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care.